taking selfies with people.
At least they're still asking, you know.
Diversity and opportunity.
My only agenda.
I'm deeply alarmed by the state of our democracy and the moral decay we're witnessing. Louis Brandeis once said, the only title in our democracy superior to that of president is that of citizen. The ancient Greeks believed that voting was a sacred duty, a principle that should be timeless. But today, I find myself at a moral crossroads.
Freedom and freedom, so let's keep it that way.
From now. What makes America the greatest country in the world?
As a lifelong Democrat, I'm now facing a moral quandary. This November, I'm considering a third-party vote. Unless you can unequivocally condemn Israel's actions in the occupied territories over the past 10 months. This is not just a single-issue vote. It's a test of basic decency.
I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering the question. What about the people? Why is America
not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer.
The term terrorism has often been misused to delegitimize those who resist oppression. Nelson Mandela was once labeled a terrorist by the US, despite his righteous struggle against apartheid, a regime universally condemned. Similarly, Che Guevara, labeled a terrorist by some, fought for anti-imperialism and social justice. Even our own founding fathers, who led the American Revolution, might have been called extremists, if judged by today's standards.
Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people.
Our founding fathers warned against the dangers of governments getting too cozy with religion. What is modern Israel but an ethnocracy? And where is America headed if we continue to support such a model? At one time, we all agreed that these things were un-American. Yet, here we are, proudly supporting one in the Middle East. We rightfully label groups like the KKK as terrorists for dreaming of an ethno-state, yet we support one abroad. Israel declared itself a nation-state recently, and there's a documented history of apartheid and brutality. We've seen this before in our own history, where hatred led to lynching and terror until the civil rights movement forced a change. The irony is thick, and the history we refuse to learn from is clearer than ever. History is full of complex moral compromises. The Ha'avar Agreement between Nazi Germany and Zionist Jews in 1933 is a stark example. This pact, intended to facilitate Jewish immigration to Palestine, highlights how desperate times lead to difficult decisions, complicating the narrative of good versus evil. Today, we must critically examine our alliances and ask if our moral compass is still intact. The choices you make now will answer that timeless question. What would you do during historical crises? Those who resisted oppression in the past are now hailed as heroes. Yet today, those standing against genocide in Gaza are labeled as extremists. What wouldn't you do if you were the one under siege? Let me simplify it. It's colonization, plain and simple. A story America knows all too well. The Nakba of 1948, the ethnic cleansing of 700,000 Palestinians, and decades of violence continue to this day. Your silence on these atrocities is deafening. Have we learned anything? Can you stand up and condemn this genocide? Or is it easier to silence those of us who dare to speak out? For myself and countless others, the fact that we can allow genocide to unfold, support it, and defame its opposition, all while our own rights erode, is so much more than one issue vote. Our democracy is on life support, and so is the soul of our nation. If you can permit genocide for votes, what won't you do?
Can't be just while I breathe, I hope. It must be while I breathe, I vote. Because that is how we make hope real for all of America. America, let's vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. Let's save our democracy.
We remember those who came before us.
What side of history will you stand on? Follow for more discussions on these critical issues.